All right, so you said you wanted to talk about the Amish.
Yes.
Fuck the Amish.
Hi, I'm Chris Lujan.
And I'm BINDU.
This is the I Ams. God damn it. And we're back on the I Ams. The question remains, will BINDU return? Is BINDU here? Is BINDU here? Jump cut. Jump cut. And we're back on the I Ams.
Me Mike.
Pause for technical difficulties.
Where should I put it? Right there? Lower? Higher?
Higher. Maybe put it right above the symbol.
Better?
Yeah, that's cool.
Can I turn this off? Lights are not too bright, or are they too bright?
I have no idea.
Oh yeah, my thing dropped. Should I fix that real fast? Yes. Let's fix it. Yes.
Jump cut. Jump cut. That is a dope ass shirt.
Thank you.
Like that logo, I love that logo. So is that a specific logo?
This is the 1966 Adam West George Barris Batmobile door symbol.
Oh.
The only place you'll find it is on the Batmobile door.
See, that is as far nerd as you could get, I think. And it's perfect.
What do you mean as far now? I got the 1966 automotive pants
I understand that, but just the fact that you were able to just like roll that off your tongue like that is elite nerd status.
Where the fuck
you should get a fucking trophy.
I have a one of a kind, screen accurate Adam West 1966 Batman cowl by Chuck Williams.
Yes.
But it's wrapped in black leather. And no one has that. I'm the only one in the world.
Elite nerd shit.
Chuck just happens to be a buddy of mine. We were a part in 2008. We were part of the 1966 message board before the internet really got big, right? Just a bunch of nerds nerding out.
Yeah.
And everybody, you can buy any of the Batman cowls because it's a silicone shit, right? But the 1966 Batman cowl, there's no way to make it real fast. It's a fiberglass shell with hand stitching on the outside. The end.
Yeah.
That's why it looks so fucking cool. So everyone like Michael Keaton, right? Anyone that ever dressed like Batman, when you're listening to them behind the scenes, they're like, I hated the suit. It gave me headaches.
Right.
It was all fucked up.
Yeah.
Adam West never says that because there's no latex. It's comfortable as shit.
I mean,
so I've gone to dude, I've worn that shit all day long.
He wore some very breathable tights.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. And I have those breathable tights, my friend. And they are breathable. I'll tell you what.
Cheers.
I made Maddie O'Reilly dress up like Catwoman for Halloween one time. And I was Batman for Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah. And later that night, when Catwoman broke into my room.
Uh-oh.
Thrust of justice, my friend.
Was she also your stepsister?
With the cowl on and the cameras rolling. That's not a lie.
And we'll put that footage right here.
Hell no! Hell no! No. That's worth a lot of money.
But now I get to write that song and insert it in the show.
Okay. That's all good. All right, so you said you wanted to talk about the Amish.
Yes.
Fuck the Amish.
So like I just heard this speech basically that I hope you recreate because it was beautiful.
What are you talking about? There's no speech. It's raw passion.
I hope it spills out again. So Maceo was like, what is there to say about the Amish? What about the Amish? Who could have anything to say about the Amish? So I want like BINDU. Tell us about the Amish.
Okay. First of all, let me let you know that I am
deep.
I'm an OG comic nerd. Okay? And I was a part of the entire comic scene before there was an Image. When Todd McFarlane was still doing Spider-Man and he just created Venom and everyone was going nuts. And there was a new dude out there called Jim Lee. And the whole Asian jump came in on the X-Men. Whilce Portacio, Art T-Bear, all that type of shit, right? and you started having this crazy comic come up. The conventions were insane. The late 80s conventions were the greatest conventions because there were no cosplayers, Chris Lujan.
Right.
There were no cosplayers.
And at that point, it wasn't big business like movies like it is now, right?
Correct.
Now the movies have taken over as probably the most important thing in the Marvel universe, right?
Right.
More so than the comic books and all of that shit.
Right.
But in the 80s, it was all about the comic books.
Correct. So you could walk in and you could get Stan Lee's autograph and Jim Lee's autograph, who drew it, and then Scott Williams, who inked it, and Glennis Oliver, who colored it, and Tom Orzechowski, who lettered it. You could get everyone's autograph, and you didn't have to wait in a long-ass line. There was no raffle. It was cool as shit.
It was before there were stars going there.
It was
of the
before
movies.
conventions started paying strippers to dress up like cosplayers, before there was a word cosplay. So the very few people that would actually go all decked out in their regalia, aliens, with their motion trackers.
Are the true comic nerds.
It was fun. Oh, look at that. Right?
Yes.
Once, right around 98, 99, right when they started, like Funky Rio, when they started offering all the strippers in San Francisco they'd be paid to dress up like Wonder Woman or whatever. That's when the comic conventions changed and cosplay took over and became a word. And cosplay ruined comic conventions. Fuck cosplay.
Okay.
Right? And I'm really good at it.
Now I know where we're going.
You see where I'm going with this? Far left and coming back?
Uh-huh.
Now to the Amish.
Make sure to like and subscribe and join our Discord and Patreon. Check out our links.
Now back to the show. Fuck the fucking Amish, those cosplaying ass motherfuckers. Fuck those guys as they live in their fucking wooden wheels, no electricity. I don't know what radio is, as they live in the center of the military-industrial complex of nuclear power unlike humanity has ever seen, Chris Lujan. My father worked for NORAD. Do you know what NORAD is? He was at the Naval Air Rework Facility. That is this invisible shield around the United States of guided missiles. And any motherfucker that does not have the right say-so gets blown the fuck up. And you know what happens if you make it past that? We have all the branches of the military that will most definitely train their entire life to fuck you up. And we have crazy military prisons, Guantanamo Bay, all kinds of things for these horrible fucking places, for these people that want to fuck us up, right? And right in the center of all of this, and all of that, are these motherfuckers cosplaying in pilgrim outfits, eating fucking Bail and acting like, I don't know what the weather is like, and stay away from those internets, while they nestle in the protection of the military industrialized complex. Fuck off, Amish! I will stomp Amish in the balls. Fuck the Amish. I hate them. And when I had to drive through the United States and deal with their bullshit and the Mennonites and all that fucking shit as they dress up like Little House on the Prairie, but in their way of my line at Starbucks to get a coffee, get the fuck out of here, Mary Lou Ellen. Fuck you, bitch. Fuck off and go grind your fucking coffee beans as you make them in the prairie, bitch. Fuck you and get out of my way. Oh, I hate the Amish, man.
Have you ever heard anyone have such an opinion on the Amish?
I hate the Amish, man.
Isn't it amazing?
Fuck them.
Like, honestly,
they act holier than thou.
About the Amish.
They act holier than thou, like they're living the right of way as they live under nuclear protection. Get the fuck out of here, bitch!
And you were saying they don't pay taxes or anything.
Nothing, because they're religious. Right?
So,
but you pay taxes and I pay taxes and we pay to protect those motherfuckers as they look down on us as they fucking smoke big old doinks in Amish.
So he's
smoking big old doinks.
So we'll get back to that.
Fuck those guys.
That's actually how this started. Because I just need to know. I need to know. But so he's of the opinion that the Amish are 24-hour cosplaying.
What would you call it?
But I have no idea.
What the fuck would you call it when you're running around in a fucking with a horse in a wagon wheel, knowing goddamn well that a nuclear submarine protects your ass so you can do that? Get the fuck out of here, bitch.
So, should they be their own country?
No, they should not exist. Take your Amish ass and go move somewhere outside of the United States and set up your little house on the prairie and see how long that lasts before pirates come and take it over and rape you and your children and fucking serve you up as dinner, you dumb fuck.
Are the Amish only in America?
Yes!
So,
under the protection of the greatest nuclear military industrial complex known to humankind. That's why they can do that little house.
So
on
the
prairie
fact
bullshit.
that they're protected means that they could be...
Completely ignorant, and ignorant is bliss. They're fucking morons.
Can you believe this?
Fuck them.
Isn't this the most amazing take on it you've ever heard?
What kind of take is it?
Okay, so where...
What do you mean? If that's your take on it, that's no take. That's what it is.
You know what I mean.
Right? No. Did you get this?
So, smoking big doinks in Amish.
Yeah.
Please, okay, now
You
I
asked
know
me.
how you feel about the Amish.
Right, when I
but
say
what-
I'm smoking big doinks in Amish, because I'm making fun of that one fucker that was smoking them fat doinks in Amish. Because once weed became legal, the innocent Amish started growing weed. And marijuana is a billion-dollar organization. Now they're using your billion-dollar organization and they're hiding under the guise of military bullshit, religious bullshit, so they can escape taxing. So now, right? Now they're gangsters. And they're pretending like they're Richie Cunningham on Little House of the Prairie, growing fucking big old doinks in Amish.
So-
Get the fuck out of here.
So I asked
They're
him.
bullshit. I will stomp Amish balls.
So I asked him,
And I wear a size 12 shoe, god damn it.
17-year-old Amish daughter, right? She's gonna go to bed. When she's by herself in bed, does she close her eyes and dream of space sauce, like flying saucers and airplanes and shit like that?
No.
So they're so deep into the cosplay.
She doesn't
that
know-
They've convinced their kids that none of this stuff exists.
They've never seen
what
a
did you just
television.
smoke?
They've a sativa.
That smelled great.
There's no button. You just hit it. Okay, so they've never seen a museum, so they don't know what a dinosaur is. All right, so Americans right there, don't mean to fucking open your eyes, but George Washington, the great president of the United States, never knew what a fucking dinosaur was. That's how new that discovery is.
Yeah,
Right?
you're
So think about that.
Yeah.
Okay? George Washington on our $1 bill and on our quarter, right? Did not know what a dinosaur was.
And then at some point, they decided to make up dinosaurs.
They made them up. So Amish don't know what dinosaurs are. They don't know what space is. They don't know what fucking airplanes are. Maybe they saw one.
Right, exactly.
Right, look at that metal bird in the sky. Dumb fucks. Fuck
look
them,
at-
man.
That almost is a metal bird. A bat. What the fuck is a bat? Is it a rodent?
Yes. It's a mammal that can fly that uses echolocation. Thank you. It's a sophisticated animal.
Very dinosaur-ish, huh?
There's nothing of that. Look at this Calvin and Hobbes guy. Bats are bugs. That's a deep cut. You know what I'm getting at, Bill Watterson. Yeah. Fuck the Amish, man.
Bears.
Battlestar Galactica.
I know Battlestar Galactica.
All right.
Starbuck and all that. Yeah, we can go deep. Yeah. Even the
Wow,
remake.
this got all wrapped back up into nerddom.
Look where you're at. Look what's behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Look what's tattooed on my arms.
So what is tattooed on your arms?
When-
For the longest time, you just had outlines, and it looked like, what the fuck is he gonna do with that? You
Right.
know what I mean?
But I could see.
Yeah.
I was
I
playing.
mean,
it was like,
and we knew that you were halfway done or whatever.
it was jazz.
Sure.
It's the notes I'm not playing, Chris Lujan. Right? So my earliest memories is the 1966 Batman show, the greatest show ever made. The show that introduced the world to Bruce Lee and mixed martial arts. And fucking because of Kato and the Green Hornet. All right. So when that show came out, back then it was for kids, but they made it so campy that it was for the adults as well. And it became this big ass thing in the 60s. But the show was made in the 60s at such a time, it was the first color television show, or one of the first ones, right? So they didn't even know what syndication was yet. They had no idea. They're running with this new fucking thing, right? So they run with the Batman show. So now I'm born. Now we're in the early 70s. And now they're playing something called a rerun that had never been done before.
Right.
And so now I'm growing up and these are my first memories.
I learned about those on Back to the Future.
Every time Batman goes to punch somebody in the face, there's a sound effect, an onomatopoeia.
Right.
I have Biff,
Was that
Boff, and Bam, and I have Batman tattooed on my arm.
Was that to get past the Hays Code?
That was because they couldn't show the violence at certain times. Yeah, something like that.
So really, that
And
was
then
their
I have-
creative way of getting around actually showing a punch.
Yes, that's how they did it. And it was
Okay.
beautiful. And because it was color television, it was like, "Bah,
Yeah,
bah," and it
yeah.
had all the jazz, wow, trumpet, right? But if you pay attention
Nelson?
if you look at 1966, Frank Miller's reintroduction of a Batman who's in retirement, who comes out of retirement, right? He dresses up exactly like Adam West. It just, what happens if Adam West in the 60s never stopped being Batman and he's climbing around on ropes and shit? He would get yoked. So but 20 years later, in 86, he would be this yoked ass older man. And that's what The Dark Knight Returns is. And so the 1966 Batman and The Dark Knight Returns Batman is the same Batman. And so I have Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns Batman and The Dark Knight Returns Lightning from number one. But the sound effect of the 66, because it's all the same Batman and it's all my favorite Batman. And so once I saw when I was 16 and I fell in love with The Dark Knight Returns, I realized that's the one character that doesn't have any powers, that only gets cooler the older he gets. So that's the one I held on to. So while everybody else grows out of like their Superman or their Spider-Man or their Thor or whatever, I never grew out of Batman. And I just started having children and making Robins
Right.
and Batgirls.
Oh, man. This guy, one of these days, there's a Robin comic that he's got to make. He has a take on Robin that is like...
The greatest take ever.
Yeah.
I know. Oh, well, I like
I'm
Batman.
going to force you to do it.
I like Batman, dude. I like the concept.
We're going to tie
I like
him down.
the idea.
We're going to pull a Misery on you.
And break my ankles between the sticks?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
And then force you to make the comic. when the comic
You're
is...
going to be, I noticed the Rubik's Cube was turned a little bit to the right. Huh?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a movie called... Well, I guess there's a movie, yes. But it's from a Stephen King novel, Misery. It's about this stalker fan, right? What is there a word for stalking a famous person? There's an extra word for it, right?
I have fans like that. Any...
Would it just be stalker?
I gotta walk around weapons, man. I keep that thing on me because there's BINDU fans out there that are a little too much. I like what you're eating today. I'm like, I just posted that 5 minutes ago, right?
That's me. I do that to you.
You kind of are. You kind of are a little psycho, but you're like, hey,
Yeah.
show me that step again, right? No, these are people that like. So I'll be shopping, and someone will come up behind me, and they'll explain to me what I was eating on my Snap 3 days ago. And I'm like, first of all, I've done 40 snaps since then, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
And I've done a couple of shows, and I've been drunk and high in the like, what?
Yeah.
What are you fucking talking about right now? It's like that. I'm gonna get my ankles broke between sticks for sure. Paint the tree, and break my legs.
So she loved this guy's books. What happened? He was traveling in the snow and
He
his
had
car
a car
crashed?
accident.
Yeah.
And she happened to be a nurse who obsessed over him.
Right.
And she found him. And so she
Did she
brought
cause
him.
the car accident?
I'll have to watch the movie again.
Yeah.
But I think it was just lucky for her.
Yeah.
Terrible for
that
him.
would be very fucking lucky.
So a super fan catches
the author of her favorite book series.
right and keeps him imprisoned.
Yeah.
Forever.
Basically, like, he has to write the next book.
Yeah.
And, like, since he's prisoner, he tries to escape. And so, like, yeah. She basically had,
It's horrific.
she has to hobble him by breaking
horrific.
both of his ankles to keep him there.
Spoilers. When I saw that in the movie theater,
Yeah.
I shrieked like a bitch. The camera does not pull away.
No.
And she breaks that fool's ankles with a sledgehammer
Yep.
to keep him in bed.
So that's what we're going to have to do to him to get this Robin comic out of him.
Okay, so we'll get to the Robin comic later.
Yeah.
First, I have to learn how to make comics. I know how to draw pinups. I know how to do covers, right? So
Right, I
in the
understand.
comic world, there's artists that only do covers.
Are
right?
there really?
Yeah, because
Only
they know how to
covers.
make an eye-catching thing. That's cool, right? But how do you make a person making a pizza? Can you make a comic book that's interesting? A person making a pizza? You got to think of you have to be the director of photography.
Yeah.
You got to think of all the different angles.
Yeah.
You got to know your perspective. You got to know all that shit, and it's a lot. And then you have to make it good so people will even want to even look at it.
It's like you're mad at me for wanting to read this comic.
No, but what the whole reason why I stopped my love of comics and why I fell in love with the cartoonist kayfabe, because they started going over the comics that I had lost. I lost my storage unit and 11 boxes of all of my comics.
Right.
Very depressing. I didn't want to talk about it. During the cartoonist kayfabe years, during the pandemic, they were going over it, and I was like, holy fucking shit. They're going over the things I never thought I'd go over again. But Ed Piskor talks like me. He doesn't give a shit. He's a pirate.
Yeah.
Right? So, boom. And so I'm like, all right, I love this guy. And then you just fall in love with Jim Rugg. He's a sweetheart. And so I was waking up every day with these guys. But back then, man, comics were $1.30. Right?
Yeah.
Comics are $5 now, man.
Really? Just for like your standard comic book?
Correct.
No
Who the
spine,
fuck is gonna
just
buy
stapled
that?
together.
Yeah, so it's fun to draw a comic, but you can't make a living doing that bullshit. You won't make no money, man. Yeah.
But
You got to be doing like 15 comics at one time.
but can't you do like a graphic novel?
Sure.
In a graphic novel, I don't want to say a graphic novel is more important than a comic book, but there's probably people, probably like me. I think I collect graphic novels. I don't have a comic book collection.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
So couldn't you do a graphic novel? Like basically, so like here's the whole story. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And sell that.
So I have my 3-tiered project I want to do. Never Not Ninjas.
Yes.
Badass Bruno, then Fob 45. Well, my Never Not Ninjas is going to be 6 books of an 8-page comic. So at the end of that, I'll have a 48-page comic.
Okay.
And that will be my graphic.
So those are like shorts, kind
right.
of.
And then I'll put them together as one.
Right.
Then I'll have a 48-page comic.
Okay.
Cool. And then I'll do Badass Bruno.
Uh-huh.
And then
Same thing.
Yeah. And then by then but Badass Bruno will be all painted. Well, what happened? Did it run out of power?
It doesn't matter.
Badass Bruno will be all painted. So I get to do my ink work with Never Not Ninjas. And then I get to do my watercolor and paint with Badass Bruno.
Yeah.
And then by then, I'll have the chops. And then I'll be able to do Fob 45 correct. And that will be our graphic novel.
Okay. So you'll basically have, not to put it into the easiest of terms, but like the first one, Never Not Ninjas, will basically be one comic book.
Correct.
Right?
Of me trying to make a comic, always getting attacked by ninjas.
Not with a spine like these, but like a stapled together, that thickness comic.
Like that Bill Sienkiewicz Batman comic book I just got.
Right,
Standard
exactly.
comic book. $5 by the way. God damn.
One comic book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it now.
Right?
And so then the next one will be one comic book as well. Right? And then the last one will be what's the length of a graphic novel? Is it like 4 comics length?
No, they're about 48 pages. I would say 48 or more.
A graphic novel?
No, probably 2 of that. Like 100 pages.
Like a book like Stray Toasters. Stray Toasters was made up of 4 comics, I believe, right? Compiled into because I have the graphic novel version of it.
I can't remember. I want to say there were like 12. I think like 12 comics all crushed into
Really?
one. It might be.
Okay.
Can't remember.
So, but that's how you're imagining the last one will be lengthwise.
Correct. But I just want to be able to make sure that I know what the fuck I'm doing first.
Right.
So Never Not Ninjas is a silly fucking concept. I'm trying to make a comic. I never finish it because I'm always getting attacked by ninjas.
Right.
So I have a comic where I get to draw action and ninjas all the time.
Constantly.
Everyone likes to look at ninjas.
There's a fight scene.
Yeah. The whole con's great.
Especially if they're so short, right?
Right.
So each
But like Spy versus Spy.
So each one of those
You're not getting a lot of narrative, but you're getting a lot of...
So like you said, you would take how many, 4 or 6 of them and have a 48-page comic book?
6 of them.
So
each one is 8 pages.
But each of those 8, so that makes up a whole story. But each of those 8 pages is also a little mini story?
Correct.
Okay.
6 solid stories that make one giant story.
Right. Okay, perfect. I love it.
Yeah. Never Not Ninjas.
Sold.
Right. And then in that so Never Not Ninjas is me trying to make a comic, but I'm constantly getting attacked by ninjas and I don't know why. Right. And it's so everything is like, I'm almost done with the comic and then I'm fighting off ninjas. Right. But the comic I'm trying to make is Badass Bruno. And the second book will be Badass Bruno. And that's when I get to fuck around with my ink washes and get all fucking psychedelic.
Now, you've showed me how to fold a standard piece of paper up into an 8-panel comic book.
Correct.
Is that what you're talking about, or are you talking like full page?
Okay, so
Because this is like, you could basically do like 1 panel each. But if you're doing a whole page, you could do many panels within that page.
great question. So what I've learned on Procreate is to divide the art on panels so that when it will be a PDF, so you can print it out at home on one piece of paper. But then if you fold it the origami way, no cutting, no staples, no tape,
Yeah.
it will make the perfect 8-page comic.
Okay.
And that's how people will be able to have my comic. That way, cool. Right? But once I have all of the stories done, I'll put them all together in a 48-page comic.
No, I understand
and
that.
have that.
But maybe you said it and I missed it. But will you be drawing it on small panels like that? Or will you be drawing it bigger,
I'm drawing
fitting more stuff in it, and then shrinking it down?
I'm always drawing this big
Okay.
and shrinking it down. So that way it gives me the ability to do whatever I want.
Right. So it could still be like super sharp. It doesn't have to be
Correct.
like, you know how like my food will do like 12 panels on a page, and he'll draw like a rough
Yeah.
square, and then I don't want to say that they're stick figures, but it's the outlines of people. You will be able to do it full bore,
Correct.
and then shrink it down. It won't be as simplified just because it's smaller.
Right. Well, the genius of Jim Mahfood and also the folly is that you are slave to the material. There's only so big you can draw,
Right.
only so small. But once you make the transition into digital, I can have something this big, right? But in actuality, it's 48 feet wide.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now I can take this and make a mural of what I drew right here and make it perfect, Yeah, it took me a long time to learn how to love digital because I like, so I'm using digital little additives in Procreate to get like my halftones and my zippertones and shit.
Yeah.
But like the cartoonist kayfabe and Jim Mahfood is he's a lieutenant of the cartoonist kayfabe. They were making Japanese trips, going down to Japan where you could still get zippertone.
Right. Because you said that's
they're
like
cutting it out and they're applying it, and it's a whole art. And so when you see Jim Mahfood doing that, those are real zips. He's really doing it.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a whole fucking thing, man. It's bad as fuck. It's a whole thing. But I'm running a whole business and doing a whole other shit. So I try to sneak in comics when I can. It's not my whole life.
Right.
Jim Mahfood, Ed Piskor, Jim Rugg,
True.
Tom, all of those guys, all they do is comic. That's their shit. So they're carnival barkers for
You
comics
are right.
and all of that. And I'm all for it. God bless them. But what I do, being an entertainer in the Bay Area, teaching people how to paint, I make enough money that allows me free time to be able to work on other endeavors.
Right.
And shit like that. So I'm able to do a comic book when I want, a YouTube show.
I still want to read those comics though, man.
I'll make them. The Robin one. You just want to read the Robin one.
But the 3 series thing you have is pure genius, and that's not based on a pre-existing character.
Tell me
You know
more.
what I mean?
Tell
But
me
yes,
more.
the take on Robin. What you have is honestly, it's Charlie Kaufman level genius in that story.
Well, I don't think it's that. I think that we are so used to, by the way, thank you.
You're welcome.
I think we're so used to Invincibles Part 7,
Right.
Star Wars 14,
Yeah.
Battlestar Galactica 18, right? There's no original ideas out there.
Right.
Let's do something original, goddammit. So that's where I'm
Yeah,
coming
that's
from.
original. That's basically that's like your Tarantino gunshot into the scene story. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's sweet. To even,
I'm telling you, it's good.
thanks, man.
I want to read them.
I'll make them.
All right.
I'll make them.
You heard it here.
I dare you to fuck with the United States, right? I dare you to fuck with the United States. You know how many stealth bombers we have? You know how many nuclear fucking subs we have just driving around? You know what happens if you cross the line and you don't respond within 9 seconds? We have fucking crazy artillery. Dragons, Chris Lujan. Dragons with nuclear capability at their wings, right? All within the fucking surrounding, right in the center of this crazy nest egg of dragons and gargoyles and the fiercest creatures known to humanity, right? Right in the center of it, fucking the Amish. Roasting chickens, like that's their highest point in technology, like fire is the greatest point in the world, and they abstract themselves from any and all bullshit as they live in the security of the greatest military industrial complex known to humankind. Get the fuck out of here, Amish! I fucking hate the Amish! I'll stop the balls on Amish! Fucking Amish!